back in on the next stage of the install of our 7172 SS Dash Conversion. We finished this cluster housing yesterday. We have it all assembled, including the dash lens. Haven't installed the clock knobs yet. We'll do that at the end. As you can see, it's on together very well. I used a little bit of glue to set the lens in place and hold it in there, so you know it should all fit in there perfectly, but you don't want this to get loose and round around, so that always helps out. Just put a little bit of black glue all over each one of the little mounting studs. This will go in together as one piece. As you can tell, it mounted on very easily. Like I said, just use some simple number 8 screws to mount the housing to the plastic gauge housing, and that's together as one unit. But before this part goes on our actual dash assembly, which was also purchased at the original part group as part of the kit, there's a couple things that you're going to need to know before we do. First thing I'm going to do is actually install the wiper switch assembly. Okay. The only reason I'm doing this first is because it's easier to get to first than it is after we mount the actual gauge cluster. Okay, so we're going to mount that. Another thing that's important, it's also easy to get to, is this ground strap. This ground strap is going to mount on the switch itself. It's going to mount to the bracing for the console, for the dash, and also mount to the headlight switch. Okay, it's very important that this happens. It does not come with the kit, but you could also purchase it from our catalog at Original Parts Group. Okay, people forget to buy this part, forget to install it because it goes on without, everything goes on without it, but they'll end up pulling their headlight switch and there's nothing. Very important. You can make your own ground strap, ground it to the body or whatever, but this is the correct, proper way of doing it, and it's also completely factory correct to a GMA body. Okay, so we'll do that first. We'll get our 3 short screws here. Here they are. Line up the other 2 mounts. Like I said, this part could go on afterwards, but it's just easier this way. Once you do that, you ground it to the actual frame support here. This uses a little bit bigger screw. I use the number 10 to mount. Also, heads up, one of these screws is going to have to be removed later on because of the wiring harness. When that gets installed, there's 3 different grounds that are going to mount right here. So we're going to mount one of those to the screw. Now it's time for the actual gauge cluster housing. Well, quick tip that I forgot to tell you guys earlier. Just to be safe, I ran a drill through all these mounting holes to clean them out. It's not 100% necessary to do that. I just tend to do that on anything that we going to put new threads through, like plastic or steel. Just makes it easier. It relieves stress, and it'll avoid any kind of cracks or damage to the mounting piece. And another thing, before that goes in, very important, is this brake light lens for your emergency brake. Everyone forgets to install that piece. They end up putting the whole piece together in their car, and then you'll see a light bulb sticking right through there. Tear everything back apart and reinstall that piece. So put that in first. Put the first screw in lightly. start mounting the rest. As you can see, these are all reproduction parts, but everything lines up perfectly. Tighten up all your screws. Don't over tighten anything, just enough to cinch it down. And there you have it. See what it looks like once it's installed. Your wiper switch is on. Everything works perfectly. All the lenses are clear. This will be a very nice addition to your standard Malibu car or standard El Camino. Nothing looks as good as a factory SS Dash.